We're back in the workshop today and we're seeing the last part of the gale force winds that we've got blowing around the country. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to carry on working, whether we might have to bail out of the workshop. It might start blowing the door in. We've already got it reinforced the best we can. Today I'm trying to get the last couple of jobs knocked out on the L405 Range Rover. This anti-roll bar is the active anti-roll bar and we have a leak on the end of it. The seal is gone, so we have a replacement and we're going to look at fitting that today. This is the replacement unit that we've been sent through that we're going to be installing. So having a comparison to the one that's on the vehicle, it looks identical. Gives us a bit of an idea of what we need to remove to replace it as well. Now we've replaced the pipework to the rear one, and when we did that we have not yet bled the system. So once we get this one reinstalled, we'll bleed the whole system on the vehicle. I did top it up with oil because there was moisture in the oil. So when we've replaced the pipes, we've put new oil in the system and we're going to drain that out and allow that, when we remove this now, that'll all come out. And that's just going to be disposed of because obviously there'll be moisture in it, and that's just one of the flushes that we're going to do on it. We're probably going to do 2 or 3 flushes on this. Got one out. The other one I just need to get a spanner on it and hold the centre with the torque. Dropped it nicely in the bucket of oil. Okay, so that's both the nuts out. Hold the anti-roll bar to the strut towers. Get the catch pot underneath, ready to drop my bolt in and probably catch the oil that we're about to release. So it'll come out. There she goes, nice. That's the oil draining out, and as you can see it's a little bit milky because there's definitely water in it. Shouldn't be when we finish replacing it all. Hook it to catch. It's a bit milky. So I'm just going to unbolt the anti-roll bar brackets off the old one and transfer them over to the new one. So just going to take its weight there on them front bolts like that, then just be able to get the back in. That's the bump taken out. The rainstorm outside doesn't seem to be easing off. We've got a whole night of this. It's not going to be much fun. Brake lines to the rear hubs. Release the centre pin on the clip. There you go. Eventually it pops out. Just be able to pop the back clip with it. So that gives me access in here to this end of the brake pipe. So the brake pipe runs around the back. Bolt holding it on here. We have another fixing at the bottom. And then we come round onto the caliper, which is where we'll bleed it. It's supposed to be settling down, but doesn't seem to be yet. There we go. The longest bolts to hold on the thinnest piece now. So I'm just going to put a pipe clamp on here. Just cut the loss of brake fluid and I'll reconnect the back end first, and then I'll drop the front out and we'll replace it. Two new brake lines here. So there is actually a joint on the solid there. Give it a spray out with some brake cleaner, just make sure the surface where the new copper gaskets are going to seal is nice and clean. It's new O-rings, new clip, new screws and whatnot to go on there. Nice fresh new pipe. Remember to put your O-ring on. has a little locking tab on it. That's nice. Nice and tight. So just bring the vehicle down to a little bit of an easier space to work in. Move that pipe out of the way. Rather than struggling when it's in position, I'm just going to screw this in. I should tighten it up when we get it where we want it. So that's nipped anyway. I'm not going to tighten these right up, I'm just going to do them till they knit, and that way then I can get all of the pipes sitting where I want them before I tighten them up. That's probably enough just for now. It's a long bolt for what it's doing. Bit, we'll split the pipe there and drop the bracket off and replace it. Okay, nice. In its place where it's going, and then we'll swap the brake line. As you can see, his brake fluid just starting to leak on the old pipe just because it was loosened off. I'm just going to spin that out now. Got my bucket underneath to catch any fluid if we do lose much. Just try and hold this trim out of the way. Tight. Just let fluid run out of the pipe. So we didn't lose much fluid. There's our rusty pipe that's been advised by Land Rover to change. What we'll do is we'll just release the bleed nipple. So I'm just going to crack the bleed nipple open, just allow gravity to push some of the air out. We'll bleed them properly in a little while. You can probably see the bubbles of air coming out already. Save a lot of hassle by just doing it with a bit of gravity. check it all for leaks. So now that we've got some fluid coming through, I'm just going to fit the brake leading bottle onto there and put it above, purely because that will highlight whether we've got any air in the brake line, which we actually haven't. Yeah, that's looking really good, so I'm just going to nip that off for now. We will bleed it when I have assistance later on. Put the little cap back on, and then we'll head over and do the passenger side. So we're looking at the same job on this side of the vehicle. So once again, just going to clamp off the hose. Just remove all the bolts holding the pipe on. So that's the first bolt out. Nice big long bolt for absolutely no reason. Second bolt down here. That's that one out. Pipe fitting off the back of this caliper. This is going to have new bolts and washers, which are in the new kit for the new hose. That's that out. Just drop that off. Let's both washers out. Scrape the loose crud off. Clean her off. So here we go, back with the new pipe. Make sure we've got copper ring, copper washer, sorry, on both sides. Into this nice little securing slot. Let's get that in and whipped up. We'll place the pipe around the back of the shock absorber. It's a bit of a squeeze in here. So we go back into that fitting, which is there. I'm not going to do that tight, I'm just going to leave that very loose. And I'm going to put bolts in. Be a little locking tab just there to hold that. Just put the spanner on, and the weather is not getting any better. Getting pretty horrendous actually. Okay, that's that one done up. Yeah, nightmare. There's going to be a lot of mess everywhere, isn't there? Sorry? They are, yeah. The long ratchet spanner I never thought would be any use, and to be honest, I use them a lot. Yeah, I really do. So as we did on the other side, we're just going to crack the pipe, which just to loosen it. Then I'll drop the bracket off. Okay, so that's that one. Loosen out of the way, and we'll just replace this position in the new one. Again, I'm not going to do this one up tight, I'm just going to leave it loose so that I can get the pipe located. It should just spin up nicely. So that's roughly where I want drop this brake pipe out now. Loose. It's coming out lovely. Minimal fluid loss, which is good. Bracket in and nice and tight, and now I can tighten the pipe. That's the pipe, over and out. So there we go. Take the clamp off, drain the fluid out of it. And as I did on the other side, I'll just open the bleed nip, let the fluid out of it. So again, we're on this side, we're just gonna open the bleed valve up and just let gravity.
Hi Richard, what are we up to?
Alright, so it's another fresh day. So we've got all the brakes and anti-roll bars and everything fitted yesterday. So today's a case of get all the systems bled, get all the covers back on. First job, we're just gonna top the brake fluid up. I'm just filling that up as far as I can because we're going to lift the car in the air, and hopefully our scared of heights assistant is going to be fine. So we've got the vehicle in the air. Let's get around the back. We need an 11mm spanner and some pipe to bleed it. And I did bleed most of it using gravity yesterday, so hopefully we're not going to find any air anyway, so we'll find out in a minute. So normal rule of thumb with bleeding is go from the furthest point away and then gradually work your way closer to the master cylinder, because that clears all the air out of the pipe. I'm just going to get the spanner on. They were already loosened off yesterday, so hopefully we should be good to go. So push your pipe over, and then you've got the little lock-in tab. Just push that over and that seals the pipe. We've got the pipe fitted over here. The idea will be the brakes are pressed on the vehicle, which is going to pressurise the line. We're going to release this until we get solid brake fluid in here with no air in it. Okay, press the brakes. So as you can see, there's a couple of little bubbles, nothing major. So then what we do is we lock the pipe, release the brake, and then press it again. So then we'll just do it again. So this time, oh look, we've got a couple of bubbles come through this time. Oh, there's quite a few.
It's just in the actual pipe itself.
So you can see it's like shiny, it's almost like it's got metal flakes in it, but they're just small air bubbles, so we'll just let them come through. So release the brake and pump the pedal a couple of times, then hold it on. Okay. Pump it up. Hold. Okay, so we've travelled a lot of brake fluid through there now.
Yeah. No idea when it
just
was changed
just
last.
A couple more.
Yeah.
Couple more, Leanne. Pump it up. And hold.
Looks clean. So just rinse and repeat for the other side, and then put the wheels back.
Okay, pump up and hold it. You hold it.
That's better.
Pump it up.
There we go.
One more.
One
Pump
more
and
for
hold.
that.
Okay, brakes look good.
That's it, Leanne. You can release.
What we're doing at the moment is we're about to bleed the front anti-roll bar. The problem with it is you can't really access the bleed points on it. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to drop the frame down which should get me to the pipes. They've got quite long bolts on them, so it gives me quite a bit of room to manoeuvre. I've also disconnected the link arms. When we get it in position, I can move the link arms up and down, and hopefully that's going to move the air around the system and maybe clear it out. I've also fitted an easy bleed to the header tank. Now, it's not the proper tool for the job, but that with a inflated inner tube on it is giving me about 6 to 8 psi, which hopefully is going to be enough to push some fluid through the system.
The 2 bolts on the back are enough.
Where it smacks me in the face, because it actually is.
So I don't know if you can see the access points. Where he's trying to get to is up there on the top.
Yeah, so we're going to try and put a pipe on here just so that we can see the oil coming out and see if we can get all of the air out of it. Yeah, we've got some fluid coming out now then. I'm going to get a different spanner on this. So pipe on to the bleed nipple. We've got pressure on the fluid pot. Just hoping that we can manage to get some fluid through the system, and we do seem to be. So that's a manky colour stuff that was in it.
We're waiting for some clean stuff to try and come down.
Yeah, hopefully a bit of clean will come down through there.
Shall I try and hold it steady?
Yeah, that doesn't move very easy. I think we might only actually have to move one end of it. There's an airlock coming through, look. That's good. That's what I wanted to see. Not particularly saying that we probably pumped all the fluid out of the pot. I'm pretty sure we haven't, to be fair.
No, you topped it. The Land Rovers say that they have to bleed these 3 times when they see this problem. We might not have enough fluid for 3.
No, we're just going to keep going. It does look like the pressure's a bit low now. We might have to re-inflate our inner tube. The reason I've used an inner tube is because we haven't got a regulator to put on an airline, and most airlines the pressure increases as you leave them static, so you might start off with 8 or 9 psi. After 2 or 3 minutes you're going to have 80 or 90 psi, and that's not going to do these systems much cop. So we've got a bit of air coming there and it's come to a static stop, so I think I'm going to... oh no, it's moving still. Yeah, I think I'm going to go up and fill the header tank. I'm not going to go up, I'm going to bring the vehicle to me, but we'll lock the bleed nipple off. The other side of this is that we've replaced the rear pipework, which is going to in itself probably hold 1.5 to 2 litres of oil. So until we actually find out how that's gone, I don't know how much we're going to need to do. So we'll bring it down, we'll try and get a bit more air in the tube, and we'll see where that takes us.
Might have to start and stop the car.
Oh look, there's some air. I'm going to stop that one just at the moment. I'm going to see if we can open the bleed nipple on the other side, let a bit out there just before we run out of fluid and have to bring it back down again.
So we've just readjusted how the anti-roll bar is sitting, so we've now taken a back one out and put the front one in instead.
Just got a nice vent of air, but no fluid yet. Here we go, there's the oil coming out now.
So that's
clearer than the previous one, because the pipe drains, so this one's obviously not got so much in it.
But we did hear a hiss of air, which is kind of what we wanted to hear because it's helping with the bleeding. Right, if I hold that.
Right down a minute.
You're gonna get hit.
It's under pressure now. won't get too hot on there. It's an inner tube anyway, isn't it? I can hold it with my hand a bit if you want.
Oh, it's coming out.
So at the rear we just removed the little dust caps off the top for the bleed nipples.
On
I
each
shall
side.
crack it open. I can hear fluid. Sorry, I can hear air, not fluid.
No, you can't see what you're doing, but
No, it's going to take a little while because we've got a full length of a vehicle to drain. So what I might do is crack both of these to let them start bleeding, and then we'll start and stop the engine a couple of times and see if we can pump some fluid down through.
I'm not showing a very good angle of that.
Neither, I can't see either. It's a bit of a gamble whether we're on it or not.
Actually, you could probably twist that, couldn't you? Out of...
I think this would probably come out without too much worries. Unfortunately, due to the battery on the GoPro dying, we didn't manage to get footage of the rear suspension bleeding. But it did bleed with starting and stopping the engine because that triggers the pump. So to recap, in this episode we installed the Front ACE Antiroll bar, we installed new brake pipes, and we've bled the brakes, and we've bled the anti-roll bar. In the next episode of this series, we'll show the works on the engine where we fix the coolant leak in the V. Thanks for watching.